What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new updated settings video. If you're looking for the right settings, you've come to the right place in the right video. I'm quickly going to do a settings guide showing the settings that I use, the settings that I recommend using, and also some settings that are completely personal. So I can't really recommend anything, but I'll let you guys know what you need to do and what you need to keep count on. So you've come to the right place for the right settings video. Let's get right into it. Be sure, if you want to see something specific, I will mark some timestamps. If you want to know the sensitivity that I use, the field of view, graphics, all that stuff, it will be marked in a timestamp so you can quickly skip through the video in case you just need something specific. But I'll be covering everything in the settings. So here we go. We're starting off with general. There is nothing really interesting here. If you're new to the game, be sure to turn these ones on. The control hints can actually be quite useful, so be sure to keep them on. I turn them off because eventually they get pretty annoying. Network settings, there's nothing really interesting here as well. Now we get to the first interesting stuff in the game, and that is the field of view and ADS FOV. I'm pretty sure this is, by default, it's turned on. I would recommend turning this on as well. So be sure to keep that. Brightness is a complete personal setting. It depends on how bright your monitor is, how bright your room is you're gaming in. This is a setting I can't really recommend. I use 72. I sometimes change this according to the map. So if you're playing darker maps, it's good to keep the brightness up. And if you're playing really bright maps, you can tune down the brightness a little bit. This is an interesting one. Field of view. I use max field of view. This is a setting I do not recommend. Only if you're a monitor gamer that sits pretty close to his monitor and you know the game very well. So I actually started off on Battlefield with a 70 field of view, then I upped it to 90 once I started learning the maps a little bit better, and now I'm at max FOV, which might look a little bit like a fisheye. Not everyone likes it. Wouldn't really recommend it necessarily because it reduces the visibility of the game. But higher field of view also means more awareness around you, so you can see more on the screen. So if you're an aggressive player, using a higher field of view is definitely recommended. Vehicle field of view, I would definitely recommend putting this all the way to the max, because with a field of view, you want to be able to always know what's going on around you. And if you go in first person view, you'll be zooming in a little bit more. But once you go in third person field of view, you want it maxed out so you have the most awareness around you, so you know if somebody's flanking, yes or no. This one, motion blur, turn it off. This turn off, unless you're an immersive gamer and you want the immersive experience. If you want the performance experience and you actually want to see what's going on, we'll turn this off as much as possible. Here we have the HUD settings. There's some similar settings. Then the other one, camera shake, turn this one all the way to 20. I have a color blindness settings. I cannot show the exact color code, sadly. Oh, I think I can. There, the color code is right there. So in case for the people that are curious for my color coding, they recently updated this. This is my color coding for custom. Why is this? I have this one. Sorry, it's keeping me out of the server every time. A squad color. This is what I use for my color blindness settings in case you're curious. Just slightly colorblind, nothing crazy, but it's just easier for me to see the difference between squad color and the enemy color. This is the kill lock. I think this is turned off by default, so this is the kill feed, as you might know in many other games. I have squad and nearby. I think nearby is a must, and if you play with friends and you want to know what your squad is playing with, it's good to have squad on as well. So you know if your squad mate is using an interesting weapon, or is using a long range weapon or a close range weapon, or if he's maybe in a vehicle. You'll get that information as well. And if your squad mate dies, you can also see what gun he got killed by, which is also interesting information you need to know. And of course, nearby is useful in case your teammates get killed. You will see it in the kill feed and you're like, hey, there's a kill happened nearby. So that's useful information. Damage numbers. They are turned off by default. This is what I use. I think having damage numbers turned on is definitely a good thing to have. You get more information knowing the damage number. Sometimes you'll know that you're shooting multiple players when you cannot see multiple players. So interesting information right there. Be sure to keep them on. Chat visibility, if you like to have chat enabled, yes or no. And then minimap scale, I have it on 125. You can make this bigger or smaller, whatever you prefer. Nothing really I would recommend necessarily. So crosshair opacity, I would keep this at 100. It's very good knowing where your crosshair is. And then you have the outline. I have the default thickness if you like it a little bit more thick. I think going thin or default is the way to go with this. Then we have hit color that I changed as well. Nothing really crazy. I made this one black. The rest is all not changed, as you can see. Minimap settings, they can be quite interesting. So you can actually in-game switch between these settings whenever you want. So it's good to have like different numbers here. As air vehicle, you can go a little bit higher than this. I kind of like to have it on 150. That's mainly when I play on foot. I can switch to 150 whenever I want. And I think 40 for me fits very well. I can see what's happening around me, but it's not too much that I can't see in detail. Because sometimes you want to know exactly the location of an enemy, and you cannot see that if you put this one too high. So all this is set on default pretty much. Anything else? This is all default settings. HUD icons also, I kept this all on default. Wouldn't really recommend changing. You can change it if something is bothering you. But these are all icons. If you want to make the objective icon a little bit less visible, you can change that if you want to. Sound, interesting one. I have the music volume on 0. If you like the music, you can turn it on, of course. I have audio mix on 3D headphones and then sound configuration on stereo. So far, these has worked the best for me. If you're using a headset, you want to hear footsteps around you and what direction they were coming from. Voice chat, haven't really changed anything here, and subtitles also no interesting information. Controller settings, this is one that's going to be interesting. This is all left on default. But I have a custom button layout, so I will share that real quick. Most of the stuff is left on default. I have ping combos on R2. Then movement is all left on default besides this one. I have crouch and proning on R3, so I can crouch while still being able to shoot. And then firing and zoom is switched to L1 and R1. And knife is on circle. I have primary weapon. I think it's not showing the right thing. I'm not sure if this is correct. The gadget, I changed this as well, the gadgets around. Wouldn't really recommend this. This is just what I got used to. So that's all changed. This is also changed. So what happens if I press L2, I can switch my, or I can modify my ammo or barrel or sight with my right hand while I'm holding the switch button or modify weapon with L2. So that's a little bit different. And then I have throwing nades on triangle. So these two are switched as well. What happens if you have cycle primary weapon or modify attachments on triangle? It's hard to, you cannot move anymore while switching your attachments, which you want to be able to do. So this is a setup if you want to be able to switch attachments while still moving around. It looks a little bit more complicated than it actually is. You get used to this pretty fast, and I think it's a pretty good button layout for default controllers as well. This is all left on default pretty much. I don't have crazy vehicle settings. I will quickly go through them in case you're interested, but I don't have anything switched around as many people do think. So for vehicle and all that stuff, it's all left on default. Transport as well. It is all left on the default settings. Pilot, I think that's what most people are interested. I play on inverted. It's just something I prefer. I think the inverted settings are somewhere else. And a helicopter, also default settings. I play helicopter quite a bit. I don't know if this is actually the recommended, but this is just what I use. And then the main menu, also nothing interesting here. Global, here it is. Play on inverted. Controller vibration is turned off. But these are all the settings that I have. Aircraft, I think this is when you play choppers. I have that turned on, but the rest is all inverted. So on foot, here's the sensitivity settings. I play on 100 sensitivity. It is very high, of course, but if you're an aggressive player, I would recommend having a higher sensitivity than other people would have. But not necessarily if you cannot control it. So my recommendation is always go as high as you can until you lose control. That's where you should stop and just get used to that sensitivity. That's always the best thing to do, because you don't necessarily, higher sensitivity doesn't necessarily mean better player, but it means you can survive in more sticky situations in case you can control that actual sensitivity. Here's a field of view again. Zoom sensitivity coefficient. I have this turned on and I put this on 100. A lot of people have it on 133. For me, 100 worked a lot better. Then the aim assist here, I have soldier aim assist on 100. Then the slowdown is on 70 and zoom snap is turned off. I would definitely recommend turning off zoom snap and mess around a little bit with the slowdown. 100 sometimes can be too sticky. 50 can be maybe a little bit too less, or maybe it's actually something you like. So this is something I would recommend just kind of messing around with. For me, 70 worked really well. Input curve, I have this on Battlefield 2042 Preseason 6 / Battlefield 5, mainly because I liked Battlefield 5 a lot, so this is the reason why I use this. Aim acceleration, definitely would recommend putting this on 0. If you're just using this on 0, I think by default it's on 50. Your sensitivity is going to feel crazy high. Keep that in mind. So I would eventually try and work towards 0. But if you're going from 100 to 0, you're going to notice a big difference. But eventually, this is going to be the best setting you want to have for good muscle memory. Double tap for sprinting, you don't need to have that. I got used to it. So that's what I have. And then all this is zoom sensitivity. I have that on 50. Your zoom sensitivity is a percentage of your soldier sensitivity. So if you have this on 50, it's going to be 50% of your soldier sensitivity. If you put this on 200, your zoom sensitivity is going to be twice as fast as your soldier sensitivity. All this is vertical aim ratio, also put on 50, and I think the rest is all on default basically. Vehicle aim sensitivity is similar to what I use for the soldier sensitivity or the on-foot sensitivity. But these are the ones I use. They're kind of working, they're kind of not working. I don't play with vehicles that much. So that's what I use. This is all... Oh, this is an interesting one for your chopper. I put this on 100, this on 100. And then controls this off. You can also turn this on when you're new to the game. Definitely would recommend that. Once you get a little bit more used to the way piloting works, you can turn this one off. But having control sensitivity on 100 is definitely good, because you want to be able to move around fast, because in general vehicles are already limited to the movement they have. So put this one to 100 and try and get used to that. It's not crazy high, it might seem crazy high, but it's good to get used to. Then I have the vehicle aim ratio. I put the coefficient here on 133. I tried 100, but I didn't really like it that much, so 133 worked pretty well. And then my dead zones, they're all quite high actually. This is just what I got used to from the previous battlefields. But trying to lower this is not a bad thing necessarily. It's just what I got used to right now, and I'll stick to it because I don't really mind having it lower. The thing is, if you lower this, you might have controller drifting a lot faster than you would want to. So I keep these settings like this. The rest is all stuff we've already covered basically. There is a concussion effect here. Put this on dark if you don't want to get blinded by your screen once you get concussioned. And these are all stuff that I've already covered basically. So that's going to be the settings. Hopefully the video was useful. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I also stream on Twitch every day. I'm here live on YouTube and on Twitch. So whatever you prefer, be sure to follow it. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.